Hemp is an annual fibrous plant that is grown for many uses and has been grown in our history for up to 8,000 years. Marijuana is either the recreational use or the medicinal use of the psychoactive compounds within the cannabis plant. Industrial hemp, you get a lot of the strains that don't have the psychoactive compound THC in it at all, so absolutely useless as a drug. The history of hemp has been traced back to China to 6,000 to 8,000 BC, and it is thought of to be the first plant cultivated by man for fiber uses. From there it can be traced in nearly every culture and every civilization, being used from everything for sails in all the ships that sailed the earth, all the ropes. The first Bible was printed on hemp paper. It was used in the building of the pyramids. Hemp moved across also through the sailing ships into the American colonies and was actually grown by George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. And people don't realize that the first drafts of the American Declaration of Independence were actually written on hemp paper. You could pay your taxes with hemp as well. Hemp is prized for its multitude of uses, and also Britain wouldn't have ruled the seas so much if they didn't have access to Russian hemp. Throughout history, hemp had a very big role in industry, but towards the sort of beginning of the 20th century, it started losing a little bit of market share to cotton, because the hemp fiber it's quite hard to get off the stalk. In 1930, a man called Schlichten invented a new machine to take the fiber off hemp while it was green. The Hearst Corporation bought up the rights for this machine. They then squashed the design for this machine and ran a campaign with DuPont, who had just invented nylon, and a lot of the petrochemical industries as well, to get hemp banned because it was now competition. The history is quite involved, but when you look at the facts, there's no ways that this plant is criminalized because as a part of it can be abused. It is because of its threat to major corporations and big business. When America banned hemp and put a lot of pressure on the rest of the Western world to follow suit, there was only one Western country that decided that they would continue growing, and that was France. The rest of the countries that have traditionally grown hemp have been the communist countries. You find a lot in Serbia, Hungary, obviously China being the world leader. They're growing by far the most. Since the 1990s, there's been a resurgence in the West, and Canada was the first major country that changed, and now they're growing 50,000 hectares at the moment. The UK has now got licenses. Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand is looking at changing laws. The major use that most people know these days is for the textiles. The fiber of the hemp is 3 times the tensile strength of cotton, and it's a hollow fiber, so it's a lot more breathable. Wearing hemp, it's comfortable, it's breathable, it's the classic saying is it wears in, not out. The other uses that are coming up in France, they're developing the building industry. What they do is chip up the stalk and mix it with lime, and you actually get this, which is a hemp brick. The other product that's really big in building is the chipboard, which is lighter than wood, it's better insulating than wood, and obviously there are no trees going into it again, and it's on a sustainable basis. Big opportunity for Africa is the nutrition side of hemp. Hemp is the optimum ratio of omega fatty acids for our body, and the protein in it is globulin edestin. And globulin edestin is a very absorbable protein. Your body can digest it a lot easier than it can even a soy protein. So specifically for nutrition blocking diseases such as TB, it makes a very good porridge or a supplement on a daily basis for people who are sick. Besides that, the oil can also be used to make fuel. It makes a really good biodiesel. Another very important use for hemp is paper. It makes up to 4 times as much pulp per acre as trees, and obviously on a sustainable basis. You're getting, after 4 to 6 months, a yield of pulp instead of waiting for 6 to 8 years or even longer for trees. There's now hemp plastic as well, this is amazing. This is coming out of Australia now. People don't realize that up to 50% of our oil goes into making plastics. That even if we stop driving cars today, it wouldn't sort out our fuel problem and our oil problem in the Middle East. So this technology is really exciting. Environmentally, hemp is a very positive plant because it grows very fast, so it absorbs a lot of carbon, which, as we all know, this is a big issue with global warming. It also cuts down your use of pesticides and other chemicals in the farming practice, so it will stop your pollution of rivers and land and all that. A Canadian company has worked out, they've grew an acre of cotton and an acre of hemp and tested the inputs of water and pesticides. And a hemp t-shirt uses 300 liters less water and a cup and a half of pesticides less than cotton. So that is amazing. That you can actually see the effects immediately on planet saving and costs reduction for a farmer to grow hemp versus cotton. In South Africa, currently the situation is that hemp is only grown for research purposes. It is controlled by the Department of Health, and the permit is at the moment currently a permit to grow a narcotic drug. It is a situation where our government is yet to recognize the difference between industrial hemp and medicinal marijuana or dacha on that side. We as Emporium see our role as very much as an educational tool at the moment. Our tagline is innovate, educate, cultivate. Innovate, we're trying to show as many different products as possible to show the versatility of the plant. The educate comes in through our exposure, through what we've created here in our space, where people walk in thinking hemp's about one thing only, and that is generally smoking. They walk in here and they learn that it's about so much more, that is something that's, doesn't even come into what we do here. This is about hemp as a building material, as a food, as a job creator, as a nice, comfortable item to wear. Obviously, the cultivate that comes in at the end is somewhere where we're aiming towards. We want to be hemp farmers, and we want to be creating jobs, we want to be building houses, and we want to be feeding people. That is our ultimate aim. I feel there's a big future for hemp in South Africa in the way that the solutions it offers are so much more needed here than they are in any of the first world countries. Here we need people to have jobs, we need people to be growing organically and looking after our soil, we need people to have houses that are built nicely. They aren't these cement brick house with a tin roof that are absolutely terrible to live in. And then nutrition for people to feed themselves properly and to actually feel full and to have a healthy lifestyle. So it can offer a lot on that side. So yes, the future is bright if we can just get it through this system and get it to a place where a farmer can actually grow hemp as an industrial crop. I believe the hemp plant has an energy, especially because there are so many people across the planet that are fighting for its liberation. There are people who are really putting a lot of energy in educating and showing people the potential for this plant, and it is a plant that has been done an injustice. So wearing it has spirit as well, because you feel in your spirit that you're making a difference, not only in showing to yourself or to your friends or educating people as to what you're wearing, but also in the environmental side, in the consciousness that you have saved pesticides, you have saved water as well. Usually you'll find people who are more spiritual will seek out a product such as hemp because they are now thinking, and consciousness is basically thinking and becoming aware, and very much aware of what you put on your body or what you put in your body and what you do to your immediate surroundings and the planet as a whole.
Hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, Mr. Hemp seeds. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. We want to eat them to keep us all healthy. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Put them in our recipes, put them in our oatmeal. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Essential fatty acids and lots of protein. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Toasted, roasted, salted or dehulled. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Omega-3, omega-6 and GLA. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Make them into smoothies, make them into ice cream. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp. Hemp. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Grind them into flour to mix into some pancakes. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Bake them into cookies, bake them into pretzels. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Spread hemp butter on our daily hemp bread. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Put them into corn chips, add them to granola. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Blend them into pesto to put on our pasta. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Don't forget to refrigerate the oil. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. 3 foot, 4 foot, 8 foot, 9. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp seed stalks, they come in all size. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp seed. Tasty hemp seed is what we all need. Hemp, me say hemp.
Once was a time in this fair country, people use a hemp plant every day. God gave the hemp plant to the people. Now government come and take the hemp plant away. Government come and take the hemp plant away. Government come and take the hemp plant away. Don't give a damn about your special interest. All the soft money done bought you away. Listen up, Buster, you work for the people now. Truth and freedom for the people today. Truth and freedom for the people today. And it's, hey, don't you know, hemp is a very fine plant to grow in the land of the free. Hey, what you say? Let the people grow their hemp plant today. From sea to shining sea. Oh, didn't have a problem till you passed prohibition. Crimes without victims get you locked away. We gotta change the laws, gotta save the planet. Let the people grow the hemp plant today. Let the people grow the hemp plant today. Let the people grow the hemp plant today. And it's, hey, don't you know, hemp is a very fine plant to grow in the land of the free. Hey, what you say? Let the people grow the hemp plant today. See the shining sea. Oh. God gave the hemp plant to the people. Now government come and take the hemp plant away. God gave the hemp plant to the people. Now government come and take the hemp plant away. God gave the hemp plant to the people. Government come and take the hemp plant away. God gave the hemp plant to the people. Government come and take the hemp plant away.
David Monson grows wheat, barley, and canola on 700 acres in Osnabrück, a little town in the northeast corner of North Dakota. But wheat has sometimes been a problem crop for farmers in recent years.
We were hit with a disease in our wheat called Fusarium head blight. When we got to harvest time, there was nothing in the heads, and we had never seen anything that bad before.
So Monson, who's also a Republican state legislator, wanted to help farmers find a way to switch to another cash crop. He happened to read about hemp.
It was talking about industrial hemp legislation being introduced in other states, including Minnesota and many other states, and it talked about how Canada was raising it now and how much profit they could make on it and all that.
One reason for the interest is that hemp is so versatile. There are more than 25,000 uses, ranging from food to fiber. It was part of our everyday lives for centuries. American farmers, including George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, grew hemp.
And in fact, in North Dakota, remnants of that activity are still evident today in what is called ditchweed today, which is nothing more than wildly growing industrial hemp. It was encouraged as part of the war effort because it was a strategic material.
Over the decades, hemp was looked at in a different way. The leaves are similar to the marijuana plant, so they're often confused. Both plants are from the species cannabis, but hemp contains virtually no THC, the active ingredient in pot. Still, it became illegal in the 1930s, only to have the ban relaxed briefly for military use during World War II. In the 1970s, it became classified as a restricted drug. But that didn't deter Dave Monson.
I said, if they can do it in Canada and England and Germany, all over the world, we should be able to do it too.
Just 25 miles over the border, Canada passed a law in 1997 becoming one of more than 24 countries allowing the licensed growing of industrial hemp. Manitoba produces nearly half of the 12,000 acres planted in Canada.
You can see here, Pat, I'll knock these seeds out into my hand.
Andrea Herman is with the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance, an umbrella organization for the industry. She says her country's interest in the crop began in 1992 when a group in Ontario looked at successful cultivation efforts in Europe.
And some producers there and some governmental officials decided that this was an opportunity for Canada to recognize an industrial crop that could be grown on an agricultural basis, adding to crop rotation and crop diversity and also product diversity.
How tall will they get when they're ready to harvest?
6 to 8 feet tall.
Kent Otway is one of those Canadian farmers to venture into hemp production.
Now, why did you want to start growing it?
Oh, I guess we like to try new things a bit, and it was interesting, and the price was fairly decent for the product.
Farmers like Kent operate under strict government regulations that include a criminal background check before receiving a license. Currently, Canada grows 12,000 acres of hemp. You can see many plants right along the highways. It's an easy crop to grow, especially on land that's also good for wheat and corn. The crop is harvested at different times for different products. Seed products are picked by combine. Most of the hemp grown in Canada is grown for hemp seed, which is then processed into oil and meal. The two largest plants are located right here in Manitoba. Hemp Oil Canada's facility may be small, but it is North America's largest producer and processor of hemp, both fiber and oil for things like food, clothing, soaps, and paints.
We contract with farmers to produce hemp seed for us across the Canadian prairies. We then bring it in and process it here in St. Agath into hemp seed oil, hulled hemp seed or shelled hemp seed.
Some of the products, like the ones produced by Hemp Oil Canada, can be found in a variety of stores and specialty shops, like Hemp in the Heartland in Sacramento, California.
Kyle, it's amazing all of the things that use hemp.
Definitely. We carry clothing, food, paper products. You know, hemp yields something like 4 times more paper per acre than wood pulp, so it's an incredible alternative.
The U.S. is one of the biggest markets for hemp items. Dave Monson hopes one day to supply the crop. In 1999, North Dakota became the first state to legalize hemp cultivation. And Monson was the first to receive a state license. He still can't grow it, however, because the law also requires federal approval. So far, that hasn't happened, which means North Dakota farmers will keep up efforts to someday get the crop into their fields.
Hemp has played a role in world commerce for thousands of years. The plant was originally cultivated in China to make rope, as well as fish nets. Hemp was widely grown for use in paper making early in America's history. In fact, the Declaration of Independence is written on parchment containing hemp fibers.
It could be a multi-trillion-dollar industry had it kept going from the early days if it hadn't been outlawed because of its relationship to marijuana.
His dream is now one step closer to reality. A bill that would allow the growing of industrial hemp just passed the State Assembly Ag Committee. It would permit the growing of hemp as an 8-year pilot program in Kern, Kings, and San Joaquin counties. A number of law enforcement agencies are against the plan. They say growers can easily hide marijuana in hemp fields, bringing more crime to the area. Myers says this isn't the case.
You can't grow marijuana in a hemp field. It would get pollinated by the male plants and would cease to produce the THC, or well, it wouldn't produce it at all.
Sheriff's offices in Kings, Kern, and San Joaquin counties didn't want to comment on the issue at this time.
There's no doubt in Wayne Haugie's mind. Hemp should be a crop that is part of North Dakota's future.
We've been growing peas and lentils, chickpeas, various other types of crops over the years. And I think hemp will certainly be a nice rotational crop. It would fit in well.
He feels so strongly about it, mainly because of the potential he sees in it. Everything in front of him, samples he requested, is made from hemp.
Much to my surprise, about 3 weeks ago, I received 3 boxes in the mail. 3 really big boxes of various products from manufacturers across the entire United States.
There were others we could have shown you, but
unfortunately, I can't provide you a lot of samples because these products taste too good. And I've eaten an awful lot of these.
Oils, lotions, food, milk-like products, and more, all made from hemp.
The silk and hemp is extremely soft, very pretty looking. I can see some gal in about 3 years making a prom dress out of this stuff.
But for that to happen in North Dakota, the federal government's stance on the crop must change. A lawsuit brought against the feds was recently tossed out, and North Dakota's congressional delegation has decided not to pursue it in Congress. But Haugie still continues his push, looking to generate support.
Hopefully at some point there will be a sufficient demand, not only in North Dakota, but in other states, across the entire United States, to a point where we can join the rest of the industrialized world and start growing some of these products.
And he hopes North Dakota is a key player in doing just that.
So that's my goal, I guess, just to get area persons thinking about it.
Good evening. You're watching Spotlight San Diego. Do you have any idea what CBD stands for? I can assure you it's not in the same category as LOL, WTF, or SMH. In fact, it has nothing to do with texting. We're talking about hemp oil, which you may not know a lot about, but it is legal in all 50 states and apparently, as we're about to learn, vastly different from medical marijuana. Our next guest is Charles Vest. He is the Vice President of Communications of HempMedics PX, and I want to make sure I'm getting this all right. They're going to be presenting a discussion on February 1st at the UT's Successful Living Expo called What's the Buzz About CBD? So here with a sneak preview is Charles Vest. What's the buzz about CBD? Charles, good to see you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, the company is called?
The company is called HempMeds PX.
HempMeds PX.
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure we get this right.
You were close.
Okay, right. Okay. Hemp oil, medical marijuana. People hear hemp, they think marijuana. Maybe hemp is guilty by association, but yet, from what I've researched, hemp and marijuana, two vastly different sorts of products.
They are, Scott, and the difference could be used with the analogy between oranges and lemons. For instance, they both come from the citrus family, but they're entirely different.
So what is CBD? We're using this term CBD, and I don't know that most of us know what CBD stands for.
Well, CBD stands for cannabidiol, which is the compound that is found in cannabis. And if you look at cannabis, there's two major compounds. There's THC, which is the part that gets you high, and then there's CBD. They both are on totally different extremes. So if you want to get the psychoactive effects of cannabis, you're going to look for high THC. But if you want the healthy aspect of cannabis, you're going to look for as much CBD as possible.
Okay, CBD hemp oil is legal. The company that you work for is a publicly traded company.
Yes.
This is not something, I mean, there are going to be folks who are watching today, they're going to say, I've heard about this, I know what this does. And then there's going to be other folks watching going, I don't know what CBD oil does. So what are the health benefits? Why would someone want to take CBD oil?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, we're deficient in CBD. The last time that we got a cannabinoid, this is cannabidiol, the last time we got a cannabinoid was probably in mom's milk. And so from that point on, we have receptors in our system that are waiting for CBD and other cannabinoids to come in and fill them up. Well, once you get these receptors filled up, then our cells can have the right activity and great things can happen on a health purpose. Like, for instance, you could have anxiety or stress. Well, those receptors are looking for CBD to calm them.
So what kind of products currently might I find? I mean, is it something I might eat, something I might drink? Could I go to a health food store? What would already have CBD in it?
It's number one, yes. Number two, yes. Number three, not yet. So I brought a couple products.
Okay, let's find out what some of these products are, because I'm curious to hear about the health benefits of what CBD could do for me.
Well, let's start with a gum. How about a gum that you chew once or twice a day, has 10 milligrams of CBD in it, and there's a U.S. patent for cannabidiol, and that patent is patent 6630507, and it actually is for the study of CBD, and so this has 10 milligrams of CBD that you can get in.
All right, so let me get this straight. I chew this gum.
Absolutely.
Okay, what does it taste like?
It tastes great, like double mint gum.
Okay, I chew this twice a day, and what's good about that? Why would I want to do that?
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any stress or anxiety in your life?
Is the Pope Jewish?
Exactly.
I don't know if he is or not, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, of course I do. Come on, man. Of course.
I think he's Polish, but I'm not sure.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Of course, everybody's got stress.
Yes.
Okay, so calming?
Absolutely. So the receptors that are in our brain that are looking for CBD actually have associations with stress and anxiety.
Okay, but not getting high though.
Zero psychoactive effects.
Okay. All right. So gum. Okay, gum.
So there's gum.
All right. Very good.
And then there's also an actual oil. This is usually seen in situations where there is extreme need for CBD, and there's
what an example of
an
that
extreme need would be, for instance, you might have saw the Sanjay Gupta special on epilepsy and seizures. This is the type of CBD that we would want. This is a very, very potent cannabis oil, and you actually use this syringe without a needle. It goes under your tongue, very small amounts.
Okay, and so okay, so when you have this whole thing, you're not ingesting all this at once.
No, as a matter of fact, it's amazing, about the size of a grain of rice.
Okay, and so you would put this under your tongue, and what does it taste like?
Like what you might find under a lawnmower.
Oh, really?
It tastes like wheatgrass.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, like wheatgrass. Okay,
Yes.
not bad. And again, this would last for a while, right? I mean,
this would last. That's about 2 weeks worth right there.
Okay, and one more time, epilepsy or things like that.
Seizures, and there's, we're not making any claims or, any type of diagnosis, but it's been shown to have a great effect on seizures and other disorders.
Okay, very good.
including PTSD and other disorders that are out there.
I know we got a lot
because
of
that
veterans
study.
watching and a lot of folks in the military.
So
Okay,
there's two kinds.
Okay.
And then I want to let you know, like on a daily basis, like what would Scott Kaplan use? Well, I would suggest that you take an eyedropper full of CBD tincture. It tastes great. It has a peppermint flavor to it, and this will give you 10 to 15 milligrams of CBD a day, and you can let us know what type of effects that it has for you.
Do you use any of these products?
This is the one I use every day.
And what have you found? What's different in your life?
Well, for me, it was actually a surprise. I went to my doctor after taking this product for a couple weeks and found out that my blood pressure had been completely perfectly regulated.
Wow.
And that's unheard of for me. I've had high blood pressure since I was 15.
Okay.
And
so this is a daily product, something you just put underneath your tongue, just one drop.
One eyedropper full a day, tastes terrific, and now you can get CBD back into your system.
Okay, all right.
And that is for you, by the way.
Oh, this is for me?
Yes.
All right.
Now, remember, zero psychoactive. You won't get high from it, but you can get very healthy from it.
Okay, and again, you take it, and I would then report back to you is what you're saying.
I'm asking you to.
What would I find? I mean, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to find.
Right.
I would have to take it, try it, and tell you, hey, I've got more energy, I'm sleeping better. I mean, what?
Those are two possibilities. You see, we have these receptors that are just waiting to get filled, and it depends on what the challenge is that you have. Maybe the challenge is that you have, pain and aches and different situations going on. Maybe migraines. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe your kids are having nightmares. These are all the type of testimonials that we've seen from using CBD and getting it back in your system.
All right, this is very interesting because, again, I think people hear hemp meds, they hear the name of the company and they think right away medical marijuana. That's not the business you guys are in. You're not in the marijuana business.
Right.
You're in the hemp oil business.
The CBD business.
Okay,
yes.
so totally different deal. You compared it oranges versus lemons. People will hear more about this and get to understand more about what your company does, about more of what these products do and what are available. What is the buzz about CBD is the name of the discussion that's happening at the UT Successful Living Expo. Tell us about that. It's on February 1st.
Well, it's coming up on Saturday, and so we're going to be there. We're going to talk for about 45 minutes in the main ballroom, and we're going to talk about the value of CBD. Why should we get CBD back into our system? And then we're also going to talk about the history of hemp, because back in 1937 there was an act called the Marijuana Act, and that made it illegal to have any type of cannabis, whether it's marijuana or hemp. But with World War II, there was a large group of people that actually shared that we need hemp in our diets, we need it in our lifestyle, and so we were able to make uniforms and things like that from it. And so now hemp was now brought back into the country. For instance, you can find it on your shelf.
And I guess maybe the most important thing to leave everybody with here is that hemp is legal in all 50 states.
We're going to teach that, yes.
Okay.
I have another surprise really quick for you.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Now, you've heard of e-cigs, right?
E-cigs,
okay.
Yeah, the electronic cigarettes.
Absolutely. Well, those aren't the most healthy thing for you because they have nicotine in them. How about an e-cig that has CBD, the healthy aspect of cannabis, no nicotine, no carcinogenics, and in a papaya or a strawberry flavor? This is one of the highlights of what we have, and I have that for you as well, an
beautiful.
actual e-cig.
And again, you use this, but no, you're not going to get high.
You're not going to get high.
Right. So this is, but you will what? Well,
you will feel relaxed. You will feel stress relief from it. I call it the shoulder dropper. There you go.
And I like it. And it comes with a USB cable, so you can charge it
absolutely
on your computer or in the for an iPhone or whatever.
Yes.
Charles, what a pleasure. Thank you for introducing us to all of what hemp can do. Hemp oil. Successful Living Expo this Saturday, February 1st. The discussion is called "What is the Buzz About CBD?"
Yep.
This was a sneak preview, but I know we'll hear more coming up this Saturday. What a pleasure to visit with you. Thank you so much. I will try this, and I will get back to you immediately, and I'm not gonna tell my wife what this is. I'm gonna see if I can calm her down.
Just give it to her at night. You'll find maybe there's other benefits.
Hey, that I need. You know that. You know this. All you guys do out there. Thank you very much.
It's my
pleasure.
Don't forget to click the link in the description for more information on this product.
He told us that it was cancerous, but still in stage 1 at that point. And he thought surgery could save me, but I needed to see an oncologist for a referral to a surgeon. In our first meeting with the oncologist, he told us that if they removed the tumor in the pancreas, it would save my life.
And that it was still early enough to do that.
It's still early enough to do that at that point. I had no insurance. The surgeon wanted a little over $10,000 in advance cash to perform the surgery. UMC also wanted around $6,000 cash in advance before they would schedule the surgery.
That's why it took so long.
So my friends did fundraisers, and we raised the money to do that, and paid the hospital and paid the doctor, and then they scheduled the surgery on November 4th.
So 6 weeks?
6 weeks was
a long time.
A long time to wait with
nerve-wracking,
it was
horrible time.
Very hard on us, both emotionally and financially, to make it through that period. When the surgeon opened me up, he discovered that the tumors had spread. The pancreatic tumor had grown through the pancreatic wall and attached itself to the stomach. There were numerous tumors in my liver, a spot in the kidney that was yet unknown at that point, and the pancreatic tumor had attached to the spleen and was involved with the arteries. The bottom line was they had to pull the cameras out, pull their instruments out, sew me back up, and discontinue the surgery because it had spread. At that point, they diagnosed it as stage 4. While I was still in recovery, the doctor took my wife Kathy to the side, told her to give me palliative care. There was nothing more that could be done with surgery, and that any further treatments would have to go through the oncologist.
That was so horrible.
It was very difficult to take. Then we went back to the oncologist on December 18th, and he told us the cancer had metastasized and spread throughout my body. He said that I could start declining in about 3 weeks and starve to death within a month. There was nothing they could do, that he could not cure me of stage 4 pancreatic cancer. There was no cure. He said the most the chemo would do would be keep it from spreading any further and may extend my life 6 to 8 months maximum. What I have here are my lab trends, starting from the first time I saw the oncologist. The panel is called the tumor markers. How many cancer cells are found in a blood sample per unit. On the 19th of September, my cancer cell count was 287. 2 weeks after the attempted pancreatomy, my cancer cell count had gone from 287 to 1,406.7. Less than a month later, on December 18th, my cell count had gone up to 4,587.8.
And that's when we thought he was going to die.
On the day after Christmas, I went in and started my chemo. The cancer cell count on that day was up to 5,006.8, which the doctor explained was saturation level. Cancer was all through my body. Basically, I was so desperate that I decided to have a party right before Christmas, invited all my friends and family from all over the country to come and say goodbye to. And one of them, actually a number of them, came from Colorado. I don't know who, but one of my relatives, our friends, put a bunch of little vials of Phoenix tears in Kathy's Christmas stocking.
This is what I found in my stocking about 15 of these.
This is Phoenix tears. Phoenix tears are made using some sort of solvent base. The marijuana is cooked on a very low temperature for a long period of time until what's produced is an oil.
It's very gooey.
Very gooey. It doesn't taste very good. The only way for it to help cancer is for it to be ingested. The psychological effects caused by marijuana are not really present taking the Phoenix tears. When I first heard about it, I thought it was snake oil. I didn't believe it. I thought it was propaganda for the pro-marijuana legalization movement. But with such a bad prognosis that I would start declining in around 3 weeks and could be dead in a month, I figured at that point I had nothing to lose, including my reputation. So I began taking the Phoenix tears. I took about 2 to 3 grams of it every day, not knowing what would happen or if it would do any good. So I began searching for a medical marijuana doctor that could help me pursue this cure. Fortunately, I found a Dr. Kathleen Smith who helped me obtain my medical marijuana license. I took it faithfully the remaining few days of December and every day in January, and didn't begin to believe it until my test came back in February.
You still didn't believe it after those scans.
Showing my
He didn't believe
cancer cell count was down. I thought it was an error. I still was believing what the oncologist and the surgeon had told me, and still could not believe either in the Phoenix tears or a divine miracle either. The Phoenix tears, along with the 2 chemo medications, gemcitabine and Abraxane, has definitely proved effective. I cannot say for sure whether the Phoenix tears could have done the same by themselves. I would like to say that, and that's what I believe. But the fact is, together, the 3 of those have eaten up, disintegrated my cancerous tumors. Multiple tumors in my liver are gone. My spleen, gone. My stomach wall, gone. My kidneys, gone. Only thing remaining is a very small portion of what was my pancreatic stage 1 tumor. At last count, my blood cell count had dropped to 312.2 on February 6th, to 80.1 on March 6th, to 42 on March 30th. Normal is 35. I will continue the Phoenix tears the rest of my life. I've already chosen to make that step. I will discontinue the chemo as soon as the tumors are gone. I believe the cannabis oil will control my tumor or cure it completely.
He's doing so much better. He's working, he's driving, working. Like going to work 5 days a week. He's playing with the kids. It's a miracle. Thank God. Thank God.
Good night, everyone. I'm sure you might be thinking, is this guy serious? And my answer to that simply is yes. Cannabis sativa, hemp or marijuana? Can you tell the difference? I kind of explain this as if you yourself had an identical twin. You would both look the same, but genetically you would be different. Marijuana typically has about 15% THC, which is the stuff that gets you high, but hemp has about 0.1%. At this level, there is no psychoactive value, and you have to smoke a joint about the size of a telephone pole to get anything off of it. Once upon a time, there was hemp. Hemp has been used from everything from medicine, where it's been used to treat fever, dysentery, rabies, as well as a painkiller. It's been found in archaeological sites in Mesopotamia. It's been used for ropes. Christopher Columbus used hemp sails on his boats. And of course, Henry Ford made his first car out of hemp plastics, and it ran off hemp fuel. Today, countries from Australia to China, Canada, France, Germany, and England have either enjoyed the benefits of a hemp business or hemp industry, or are now making legislative changes to allow for hemp as an agricultural crop in the case of the United States. No, but seriously, Barbados, what are we waiting for? The situation right now, things are brown. We find ourselves feeling the effects of the global economic crisis, and there are no green industries around. Our traditional markets and industries are ailing, things like tourism, business development, international business are ailing, and we are in the need of finding new ways of creating wealth. As you can see from this extract from the Central Bank report, the negative change in all of our trade sectors. Now here's the versatility and economic potential of hemp. Firstly, in agriculture. If we grow hemp, we can produce the three basic raw materials from hemp, being the seed, the flower, and the oil. We get the oil by pressing the seed. When we finish pressing the seed, we have what's left over, a residual meal, which can be fed directly into animal produce, because we know in Barbados, our main agricultural lines are animals, sugar, formerly cotton, vegetables, and root vegetables. Also, from the seed, we can produce what is known as hemp milk, which is similar to almond milk, but hemp products are high in protein, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, as well as essential fatty acids, which are essential for our body's normal functioning. We can also use the flour to make hemp pasta. Interestingly, there's also been cases in the US and Canada where you've raised animals, as well as the Netherlands, we've raised cattle off of strictly hemp, and they've had impressive results doing that. Hemp also in construction, where you get the shiv or the inner core and mix it with lime. Then you can mold it on a wooden frame or other similar weight-bearing structures to produce hemp buildings. This is a new industry in Australia where companies are actually formed out of strictly making hemp buildings. The big one, energy. As mentioned before, we press the seed to get oil. This oil is a direct feedstock into biodiesel creation, as we have local businesses here doing that already. Also, hemp also produces the most biomass for any crop you can find, even more than corn. So when you couple that with what we plan to do with the bagasse from sugar, you can see we can produce a lot of fuel from biomass. Just consider this calculation. 1 acre of hemp can produce probably about 1,800 gallons of oil, which is 42 barrels of oil. If you can harvest it every 3 months, that's 168 barrels per year. With the arable land in Barbados at 80% usage, we have 38 square kilometers unused, which is roughly 9,400 acres. 160 barrels per acre per year, that's roughly 1.5 million barrels of oil. The international rate for oil right now is roughly $105, and you can see we can save about 166 million US dollars every year. We consume roughly 8,000. We consume roughly 8,000 barrels of oil per day, and if we produce it as I prescribe, then we can produce roughly about 54% of our annual oil need. When you couple that with the bagasse, with the biomass potential, you can see that percentage will increase. Medicine companies across the world, as well as universities, have now started researching the benefits of hemp medically. I'm sure KFL campus medical faculty will love to be able to do this. Even though the plant is in prohibition, it's interesting to note that the American government actually owns the patent on all medical benefits from cannabis. Using hemp as well, we can also produce other cosmetics. I know the ladies love their cosmetics. The essential fatty acids in hemp are excellent for your skin, so you won't have any of the issues of the normal cosmetics that are on the market now. Textiles and cordage. We used to produce CL and cotton years ago. How about producing CL and hemp now? Hemp, you can grow it with extremely less pesticides than cotton. It is 300%, you can grow 3 times more hemp than cotton per acre. It is warmer, it dries easier, it is more absorbent than cotton, and is stronger than cotton. as the saying goes, you tend to wear in hemp clothes and you don't wear them out. Also interesting about hemp is that when you rotate it with other crops, it is known to reduce pests in these crops, and it also aerates the soil because of its root system, and through a process of phytomediation, remove toxins from the soil as well. This is just a brief overview of hemp as an overall industry, where you can see we harvest it, we have the seed and the stalk, then we can shell the seeds to get the meat or the inner core, we can grind the shells to get the protein or the flour. We have the oil which we get from pressing the seed, which can be used in other processes as well. From the stalk, we can decork the stalk, which is where you take the fibrous inner core out and separate it from the fibers on the outside, which you get other fibers from, which go into making fabric and textiles and things like that. Or the hurd is what you mix with the lime to make the hempcrete. The first two columns here on your far left are extracts from the central bank report as well, where you see our current markets, and the middle column is what they forecast for them to produce. On the right is what I've created, which I term the hemp market, which basically shows a parallel between what you could produce with hemp and what we already produce. So I will leave it to you to attach the appropriate forecasted figures there, as it really doesn't exist as yet. Who will benefit from this? Well, firstly, I have here the university as it relates to research and development, not only in the medical field, but in the best way to produce hemp in agriculture, that kind of thing. BNSI, because everything these days relies on a standard. Paradise Green, which is already doing biofuel. Refineries, breweries, bakeries who can make hemp bread, vegan bread, whatever the case is. Laboratories for testing the crop and other byproducts of it. We have agricultural feedstocks for animal producers, as well as normal agriculturalists. Hemp Foods Barbados, this is the opportunity to produce a straight hemp products line. It is interesting to note that we can actually purchase some hemp products in Barbados already. If you go to Jen's or Nature's Discount, those products are already there. So my thing is, if you're going to allow businesses to import it, why not allow us to grow it and produce it here and have it to sell to somebody, as opposed to just buying and consuming everything? As we go down the list, we see we have Earth Mother Botanicals for making soap, as well as Sativa Botanicals, Berger Paints for paints and stains, as well as pharmaceuticals. The objectives of this presentation was to hopefully start the process towards getting a legal distinction between hemp and marijuana with the view of acquiring permission to grow. Producing these raw materials, basically the hemp oil, the seeds, the protein, and the fiber. Production of the byproducts from those basic raw materials, and of course the successful delivery of these products to the domestic market. And with that, I would like to say, remember, green is good. Let's end the prohibition. Thank you, and have a hempful evening.
Greg Mosley Clark.
Shalom with Nature Reflections, and we're here at Pyramid Atlantic Art Center, and I'm going to show you how to make hemp paper. This is what you'll need: a sink and a water source, a strainer, cotton interfacing, felt, blotter paper, cardboard, wool fabric, hemp fiber, a vat, molded decal, a 5-gallon bucket, and a smaller container. The first step to making hemp paper is to get your hemp fiber. And then to prepare it to go into the beater, you need to soak it overnight and simmer it in soda ash for at least 4 hours. So these are the hemp fibers after they've been soaking overnight. We're getting ready to go put this in the beater and break it down into a pulp. This is a 5-pound Reina beater. We're going to beat 2 pounds of hemp fiber today. I'm going to break them down into small pieces just to make it easier, prevent any clogging in the machine. I'm going to empty the pulp out of the beater. Scoop up some of the pulp into the vat and make a slurry, so it's a watered down version of the pulp. Wet the felt and Pellon. Here we have a molded decal. It's basically just a simple wooden frame, and this one is also wooden frame. and it has fine mesh screen on it. Use your hand to make sure that the slurry is even. Take your mold and decal, scoop it at an angle, and slowly lift it up and allow the water to drain out through the holes. You can also shake it a little from side to side, but you don't want to shake it too much. And when there's no movement on the screen, you can gently tilt it and allow more water to drain. And then remove the mold. So you want to push it down, paper side down, and then add some pressure. You can lean on the frame and push down on the screen as well. And then in one swift motion, you want to hold down on one side and then just lift it up, and there you have a piece of hemp paper. Now we're going to put it in the press. Put a sheet of interfacing on top, then another piece of wool fabric, and then a wooden board. Now I'm going to take it over to the press. And you can see the water is dripping down. And then after about 10 minutes in the press, you want to gently release it. And then we're going to bring it over to the dryer. Now we're going to prepare the paper to go into the dryer, and we're going to layer it. So the bottom layer is a piece of cardboard, and then we have a piece of blotter paper, and then a layer of felt. Transferring, just grab the corner and really slowly pull it off. And if it's too thin, you can just put the interfacing paper directly on there, but we're trying to save it. So there you go, and just keep doing that. Keep layering. After every 3 layers of felt, you want to add another blotter paper, another piece of cardboard, and then keep going so that it's even. So now that we have all of our hemp paper neatly lined up, I'm going to gently move it into the dryer. Now that it's loaded into the dryer, put the cover on, some bricks to weigh it down, and just let it dry for a couple of days. That's it. So now we're going to take the hemp paper out of the dryer, take them off, take off the cover, and now we're going to take out the final sheet. And this is the final product. Beautiful piece of hemp paper. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make hemp paper. I'd like to thank everyone that helped make this possible.
Amongst the thousands of products made from hemp, one of the most extraordinary is Henry Ford's plastic car. Built in 1941, it contained cellulose fibers derived from hemp, sisal, and wheat straw. The plastic was lighter than steel, yet could withstand 10 times the impact without denting.